Since everybody has been asking for a Khufra tutorial, I've decided to make the perfect built-up step-by-step tutorial for Khufra and for everyone to master this hero in a matter of minutes after this video. Khufra has always been one of the best tanks in the meta, as it's not only annoying, hard to face, and even filled with unlimited amounts of stuns. It is no joke that once you fully master the hero to its full potential, you can dominate every ranked game and punish anyone who dares to challenge you or your teammates. In this video, I'll be explaining from the basics to the functions and a full one-on-one match analysis that will be going through the entire match for you to grasp how to play Khufra entirely before we start. Make sure to subscribe and like the video, as it takes quite a long time to make videos like these. We will start off with his stunning abilities, which includes making opponents in an airborne state where they cannot charge or attack, and his ult can push his opponents to the wall, causing them unable to breathe and get executed by the rest of your teammates. This video will include the basic mechanics of the hero, rotations in the early to late games, and even cool techniques you can try whenever you want. Our complete Khufra full-on tutorial and guide will begin now, starting off with the functions of Khufra's passive and skills mechanics. Firstly, you can notice the stacks in the bottom for Khufra once it's stacked up towards the number 20. You can shoot a projectile sort of weapon to absorb a small portion of health for yourself. This will constantly make your health not drop too much and be healthy on the field. Next, his skill number 1 is usually used to predict your enemy movements and fly towards them so you can stun them. Combined with the ult, you can create a sort of combo like this, which is what most pro and decent Khufra users would do. However, if your ult isn't ready, you can most likely use your second skill to prevent enemies from charging towards you. Specifically, heroes like Fanny or Benedetta. But for you to use it professionally, you have to find the perfect timing for the skills, and these can easily be mastered once you play more in matches regardless of rank or classic modes. For Khufra's ult, you usually have to push it against the wall, since it's only common sense for you to stun your opponents when you're directly pushing them towards a certain point. However, you could push them to your teammates instead during desperate measures. Next up, we have several things to avoid when using Khufra, which could be really crucial, as these mistakes can really cost you the game and lose easily. When you try to ult, do not face against thinner walls, as it will make you ult your enemies against the air instead of actually stunning them. However, if you have a precise timing, you could potentially ult them against the thinner walls. Now here comes a little fun part before we move on to the full match analysis. The fun combos and creativity you can use with Khufra is unlimited. First of all, did you know you can combo with heroes like Grok? For example, Grok could put a wall in front, and Khufra could use it as an ult against it. There's also insane Khufra flicker combos you can do, such as using your first skill, then releasing it and flickering it so you can stun further opponents. That also applies to your ult, as it is really unpredictable for your opponents to see what's coming. These combos are extremely satisfying to use. However, I would say the flicker combos are the only useful ones, since if you want to pull off the special combos, it would take the perfect timing and precision to do it. After the basics introduction for Khufra's capabilities, let's dive into the full match analysis from an example of a good Khufra gameplay. I will be explaining everything you need to know throughout the entire match, from early game to the late game, and how you can perfectly execute the necessities in order to win every single match you go on to. We will also obviously be directly showing the rotations, map awareness, timing, and also the skill combos throughout the game. Without any more delay, let us begin. Firstly, during drafts, I want you guys to take a good look at the picks by not only your opponents, but also your teammates as well. It is crucial not to simply use Khufra, as you might get countered during the matches. Let's say, for example, your enemy is using heroes like Fanny. It is obvious enough to pick it, however. If the enemy has some sort of immune heroes, such as Hanabi, it would be quite risky to use Khufra. Now that we got the drafts out of the way, let's start the full match analysis, shall we? No matter what type of tank hero you pick, you usually have to follow the same rotation, but with different routes to pick from. You can start the match by choosing one of 4 rotations. But in this case, I'll be demonstrating the most optimal and easy one, which is go ahead and help the lane that is closest to the turtle. That way, your rotation would be the best, since you can easily go back to mid lane, and help your mage plus rotating to the turtle is obviously way better than if you had gone to the opposite lane. But obviously, you would still have to go to the opposite lane after clearing the mid and turtle lane. During this time, try picking up the stacks slowly, as you can see from the bottom middle. Once the stacks charge up over time, you can shoot a projectile and increase your health. After going to the turtle lane and mid lane back and forth, you can get ready to engage in the turtle once it's spawned. However, be precise with the time you have to attack so you don't take unnecessary damage. As a tank user, it is important to be brave and go in whenever your teammates are there. But that doesn't mean you go in without any backups and just let yourself lose health without any reason. This makes your gameplay way worse, since you have to constantly recall and miss out on the team fights that are actually beneficial for both you and your teammates. Before we continue, make sure to comment down what hero you want me to make a tutorial on. Next, I'll be happy to make more of these tutorials just for you guys. Let's move on to the mid-game. Playing Khufra in Mobile Legends is about being the team's go-to initiator and map controller. Picture yourself as the linchpin that holds everything together. Start by hanging out in the middle lane. It's like the heartbeat of the map, giving you access to the top and bottom lanes. Your goal here is to help your team push waves, keep an eye on the river, and engage with enemies when needed. Use Khufra's Skill 1 to jump over obstacles and surprise opponents. As you move around, be ready to jump into action with Skill 2, Tyrant's Revenge. This move is your secret weapon. Use it to catch enemies off guard, push them against walls for stun effects, and disrupt their plans. Team up with your allies and communicate your intentions. Let them know when you're diving into fights or defending against enemy attacks. Keep an eye on the map, and don't hesitate to rotate quickly to areas where your team needs you the most. Khufra's presence alone can make enemies think twice about challenging your team. Use Skill 1 strategically to navigate the terrain, surprising enemies and setting the stage for successful ganks. When it comes to objectives like the turtle, be the one to initiate fights. Use Skill 2 to shake things up, and save your ultimate Tyrant's Rage for those game-changing moments. Communicate with your team about your ultimate status so everyone is ready to jump in when needed. In a nutshell, mid-game success with Khufra is all about controlling the map, making smart rotations, and being the initiator your team needs. Keep it simple, stay adaptable, and understand that your disruptive abilities can set the stage for victory as the game progresses. Alright, let's break down Khufra's late-game shenanigans in Mobile Legends. As the tanky titan, your goal is to be the cool dude in the front line, not just because you're a giant ball of destruction, but because you've got the moves to make things happen. Late game is where the real party starts. Your main job is to be the bouncer, protect your damage-dealing buddies, and let them do their thing. Stick with them like a personal bodyguard. They'll appreciate it, trust me. Communication is key, but no need for Shakespearean monologues. Just a "Hey team, let's rock," or "Imma initiate, get ready" will do the trick. Now, let's talk about your ultimate Tyrant's Rage. It's like the confetti cannon of Mobile Legends. Wait for the right moment, unleash it, and watch enemies scatter like they just heard a bad joke. Speaking of jokes, throw in a little humor during team fights. Maybe shout something like, "Why did the enemy marksman bring a ladder to the fight?" Because they heard I was throwing a high punchline with Tyrant's rage. Late game objectives are your time to shine. If there's a lord on the loose, be the superhero who swoops in to save the day. Use your initiation skills to make an entrance, like you're auditioning for the next blockbuster. If you see an enemy squishy out of position, hit them with Skill 2, Tyrant's Revenge, and give them a not-so-friendly reminder about personal space. Adaptability is your secret weapon. Keep an eye on the enemy's fashion choices, item builds, and adjust your own accordingly. If you're feeling like a tanky beast, load up on defense items. If you want to add a dash of style, go for hybrid items that say, "I'm here to party, but I'll still mess you up." Remember, map control is not just for nerds, it's for winners. Sweep away enemy wards like you're cleaning up confetti after a wild party. Check objectives, initiate fights, and be the life of the late-game bash. In short, late-game Khufra is all about being the big, friendly bouncer at the party, cracking a few jokes, and making sure your team gets that VIP treatment. So put on your best tanky suit, cue the confetti, and lead your squad to victory in the late-game madness of Mobile Legends. This leads us to end the tutorial of Khufra. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and let me know if your Khufra gameplay improves after this. Peace out, everyone.